Hi everyone, welcome back to my studio. I'd like to welcome all my new subscribers and welcome back all of you who have been with me for a while. I'm going to work on 3 of my altered playing cards today, so let's get started. I'm starting out with 3 of the playing cards from my old maid deck. And I've got my 4 finished and on my little binder ring, and I've chosen some background papers for each one of these cards. I just went through all my painted papers and jelly prints and pulled out some papers that kind of go together. So I'm just going to start by putting a nice heavy coat of gesso on the face of all 3 of these cards. Primarily because I just don't want any of those images to show through. Some of my papers are on jelly, or some of my prints are on jelly paper. No. Some of my jelly prints are on deli paper. There we go. So I was afraid that those images might show through. So I just covered them with gesso and dried that off. And now I'm going to just put some of those papers on the backs of the cards. The cards that I've done so far, I just painted the back, but I thought I'd do something a little different and coordinate the fronts and backs of these 3 cards. So I'm just going to get those papers adhered to the backs using just regular fluid matte medium. And I'm just going to fly through this because it's just basically gluing 2 pieces of paper together, so not rocket science, nothing you haven't all done before. So that piece that I'm getting ready to glue down there is a paper towel that I printed with a stencil on the gel press. And because of the bumps in the paper towel, I really had to kind of press down with that old credit card to get it to adhere to the card. So those are the backs done for now and dried off. And then off camera, I just took my corner chomper and rounded off the corners of the cards so that the backs and fronts were nice and evenly rounded. So I'm going to start on the front, and I'm starting with these are all like leftover pieces mostly. So that piece that I'm tearing right there is a napkin on an old book page that had music on it. So I'm just starting by kind of getting some pieces together and deciding where I want to place them and the sizes and so forth. So that's what I'm doing here, just trying to figure out which part of that paper. And that paper is a photograph I took of the background of this painting I'm showing you. Before I painted the focal on it, I just really liked the background, so I took a photograph, and now I can just print it out and use that as a painted paper whenever I want to use it. And then I have just a little piece of deli paper that has paint on it in an orange color, and then that napkin piece. And that was just a little piece torn off of the butterfly piece that I thought I'll just stick that on too, so I did. So moving on to the second one, I'm going to cover the face of the card with the paper towel that has the jelly print on it. And once I get this down, I decide that it's maybe just a little bright for my taste. But I fixed it. You can always fix it, no matter what. Even if you paint over the whole thing and start over, you can always fix it. So then I grabbed this archival ink and watering can, and I'm just going to tone that piece back just a little bit with some of that gray ink. I went around the edges first and kind of darkened the edges, and then I just kind of went over the whole thing to try to get the ink to stick to some of the texture on the paper towel. I haven't really used paper towels very much in my art. I use them constantly to wipe my hands off and clean up, but not actually as part of my art. So it was interesting. I don't remember when I did the jelly print. I did a whole bunch one day. I just spent like half the day just playing with the jelly plate. And so I have a bunch of stuff that's in that turquoise and green color, and then another whole pile that had the oranges and hot pinks. So that's basically what I pulled from, because they all kind of went together. And these are some more pieces from that day that I played with the gel press. Some of them are just pick-up papers, and then some of them I actually put on the press and pulled the prints. So I'm just basically creating a small collage here on the front of each of these cards. Getting those fronts to the point that I really like them, and then I can just add something on top of that and call them done. I know some of you have been playing along, and I'm thankful for that, because it's just fun to see what somebody else is doing. I know Dee over at BettsyDoodle did a bunch the other day. They were really fun to see. If you're not familiar with her channel, I'd like to pay her back. She sent a lot of people over who ended up subscribing to my channel, and she shouted me out as Crafter of the Week. So I really appreciated that, and I will link her channel in the description box below. I also put a few of those leftover pieces of paper on the back of that second card. So this is the third one, and I have a piece of deli paper, again, that came off the gel press, or the gel plate. I really like working with the deli paper. I like the translucency of it. It's just really easy to work with. It's never hard to get it to glue down. So I have a bunch of those in my stash. They're good for, cleanup papers too. That's a little piece of a baby wipe. Sometimes they're so pretty, I just have to save them and let them dry. And I saw a video yesterday, I think, from Nina Rabina, and she made poppy flowers out of baby wipes, and I had no idea that if you heat them, they curl up. They curled up like little cupped petals. They were so pretty. So, learn something new every day. YouTube is great. Most of the time. Oh, and for all of you that have YouTube channels, in case you don't know what's going on with the FTC, make sure to go into YouTube Studio and read all about COPPA. It's the child protection laws that the FTC has imposed on YouTube. And you need to, it's mandatory, you need to mark your channel or your videos or both if they are intended for children or not intended for children. They are going to start imposing fines in January if they flag your channel. $42,000 per video. So yeah, they're really cracking down. So make sure you do that if you have a channel. Just go into your YouTube Studio settings and get that changed or set for yourself. I had that piece of Tyvek that I put on the gel plate, and then I cut it into a shape of a leaf. Then I folded it in half and I cut the middle of it out. So that's where I'm at here now. And then I took a second piece from the gel plate that I'm gluing right there now. It's on the back of that calendar page. There it is. and I just put it down as an insert inside of the leaf cutout. I just love that veiny look to that deli paper. I don't remember how I did it. I know I did it on the gel plate, but I don't remember how. I probably watched somebody else's video and thought, oh, that's cool, I'm going to do one of those, and then did it and promptly forgot how. The pitfalls of getting old, you guys. The old memory just isn't what it used to be. These are a little more abstract than the other ones that I've done so far, so they were kind of fun to work on. And I'm just going to take that piece that I cut out of the middle and tuck it down next to the leaf, almost like another leaf, smaller leaf coming out the side. And I just trim that little point off at the side. And that's another one. The background is done. And that's the back. Again, just added a few little pieces of scraps of paper from the front onto the back. So there's my 3 backgrounds. So then I'm taking archival ink and cactus flower, and I'm just going to go around the edges of that pink and orange background just to kind of bring all the papers together and just make it look like one piece. I did that on the front and the back. You probably caught that. I had already put that watering can ink on that center one. So now I have Garden Patina ink, and I'm going to do the same thing, just go around the edges of that 3rd card. But I'm going and going and going, and I'm not really seeing any ink going down. And there was a point when I stopped and stuck my finger on the ink pad because I thought, is this dried up? But it was just so close to the color of that paper that it wasn't really showing up very much at all. So I did it anyway. So now I have Martha Stewart acrylic paint in Mermaid Teal. And I just, I have to put some paint down no matter what. So I grabbed just a sewing machine bobbin because as far as I'm concerned, this is all they're good for. I can't make a sewing machine go, you guys. It's pathetic. But they make really cool marks in paint, so I decided to use that and just put some marks there on the side of that leaf, which doesn't really look like a leaf actually. It's just more of a shape. And then I took Lumiere metallic paint in white pearl, and I thought I just want some little pearl, like raised pearl dots going down the side of my leaf. So that's what I'm doing here. I love these paints. They're so thick and creamy and beautiful. And even though I'm not a shiny, glittery kind of girl, never have been, just little bits here and there are really pretty. If you've watched many of my videos, you know I'm pretty much just a vintage grunge person. No glitter in my studio. But there they are. They're really pretty and dimensional. So, and on the second one, I just mixed the white pearl paint that I had left on my mat with the mermaid teal paint that I had left on my mat, and just added a little color onto that card. It's just about the layers, you guys. I just love building up layers and creating, interest. And then I wipe my brush off real well, and I'm just using a drier brush with that paint to hit the wrinkles that I got from the paper towel and the texture of the paper towel. And I just dried them all off really well. This little piece of orange ribbon has been laying on my workbench for a long, since around Halloween, I guess. So I grabbed that and I thought, I think I'll just put that on this card. So I just put it down with glue stick, stuck it to the front, and then wrapped it around to the back. So that got it off my desk. I didn't have to throw it away. And it looks good on the card, so serendipity. Then I found a couple little pieces to put on each one of these in my ephemera stash. So I'm just going to get those all glued down and probably call it a day. So those are my cards for today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed watching me put these together. That's 5, 6, and 7. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and maybe share it out to a friend or a Facebook group. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I'd really appreciate it if you did that. And in the meantime, go make some art. Bye.